Well, howdy folks, and welcome aboard. So, if you're new to the channel, my name's Jason, and this is my journey, struggle, trip, however you want to put it, into getting back into model railroading after many, many years of being away for it. Now, if you've seen any of my previous videos, or if you haven't seen any of my previous videos, you may find out that this is a bit of hard mode for model railroading. So, I'm an American, which if I wanted to do this the easy way, I would pick an American mainline railroad, BNSF, UP, Norfolk Southern, CSX, one of those, and I could buy everything I ever wanted right off the shelf, all of the rolling stock, all of the equipment, everything is modern, available, easy, and comparatively inexpensive. That's not what I'm doing. I have been fascinated by the Rhaeitan Railway. So this is the largest meter gauge railway network in Switzerland, and I've been fascinated ever since I was a kid and got my first LGB train and LGB catalog and saw all these awesome, weird, red electric locomotives in it and went, I want that. Well, it's now 2025, and I certainly could probably get the LGB stuff, although that would bankrupt me pretty quickly. But it turns out Kato, as we all know, makes Rhaeitan Railway equipment in N scale, which has the double side effect of making it possible to actually build something interesting in a reasonably small footprint. Well, I say N scale because that's the second part that makes this whole thing hard mode for model railroading. Kato does not use for their non-American rolling stock the standard N-scale scale, which is 1 to 160. They actually use 1 to 150 because that would be correct for Japanese 3-foot 6-inch gauge equipment. But they use it as well for the Swiss meter gauge stuff. So not only do I have the challenge of Kato USA does not import any of this stuff, none of this stuff is available directly in the United States. Most of the primary resources are in German because Switzerland, and the equipment isn't a scale that I can just go and buy structures or kits or whatever for, because everything is going to be off by about 7% if I did the math correctly. In any event, since this is hard mode, why not make it harder mode? Kato in late August or early September, I think the stuff was supposed to release on the 28th of August or something like that. Usually that ends up getting pushed a little bit until everybody has availability to like the first week in September. But late August, early September released updates to their Glacier Express Rhaeitan Railway product lines or products. And this is a big part of the Rhaeitan Railway and modeling. It also is part of the Matterhorn-Goddard bond, so that because it runs across both networks. But it is a big thing to talk about in terms of getting a full Glacier Express train now going on my endeavors in N-scale. Now, of course, the way this works, they had previously released Glacier Express equipment. That's what you see here in this front train that's on the separate track. The original Glacier Express, I'm not entirely sure exactly when it was released by Kato, but follows the Glacier Express models or models the Glacier Express as it was converted to these panorama cars, I believe in 2006 or 2008. I want to say 2006. And the new equipment has updates as the panorama equipment has been upgraded. So we'll talk about some of that in the process. We'll talk about what's changed in the models and what is going on. But first, I want to start by introducing what Kato has released. There's actually one set that I don't have here that I chose not to purchase. There is, first of all, a full-on starter set with a loop of track, a GE 443 locomotive, and 2 passenger cars, 2 of the Glacier Express cars. Basically, it matches what's in this box here or package here, but it also includes a loop of track and a power supply, although I believe the road number on the locomotive is different. They released this set, which is the 3-unit basic set. That is the locomotive, this one over here, a first class or a excellence class passenger car, which is the last car on the train here, and a second class passenger car, which happens to be the first car on the train here. That's your standard set. And then along with that, there is a 4-car add-on set. That is the green box, big green box here. That includes a second class panoramic car, 2 first class panoramic cars, and the dining car or bar car, or whatever they call it, on the train. So altogether, the basic set plus the add-on set gets you a full 6-car Glacier Express train with a locomotive. Now, finally, they also released a standalone GE 443 number 643, which is a slightly different paint scheme from the 647. It is different road number. All of the locomotives on the Rhaeitan Railway have heralds and are tagged essentially for a variety of places in that canton in Switzerland, and so this is has different herald, different logo or name on it. Similar paint scheme to the 647 that comes in the kit, but prototypically accurate for 643 in terms of the differences. So that is the new set. Now let's talk about the sort of whole situation, what's changed, what's new, what's different. Kato has made some updates to both the rolling stock and the locomotives. To start with, on the locomotive side of things, the paint schemes are obviously different. The old 3-unit set, but from the original release, had locomotive number 644. The new ones have different locomotives. Paint scheme for the locomotives, it's still very similar in that it's a red car body on top of with dark gray or black below the car body for the trucks and the lower part of the engine. It was more black on the old version. It is now dark gray on the new version, so that's a noticeable spotting difference. But the biggest change that Kato has made to these model locomotives is lighting. The old sets, the old GE 44s, 44-3s, had a warm or tungsten color balanced or a warm white LED lighting setup. Now, this is, as I understand it, prototypical to when these engines, when that train set was modeled. The engines had essentially a HID or high intensity, high brightness, regular kind of LED or not LED headlights. The new locomotives, so 643, 647, and then the one that's in the Glacier Express kit with the whole power pack and track setup, now have cool white LED, essentially, headlights. Now, both of these in model form use LEDs internally, but the new headlights are designed to mimic the color of, my understanding, again, is upgrades in the last, several years they've upgraded the locomotives to better, more modern lighting, and that means LEDs, and that comes with a color change difference. So the two locomotive sets are different in that respect, and that's something to be aware of if you are, building out a railroad around this. Is we have different color headlights, different time periods, etc. Now, my understanding is not all of the prototypes are going to probably have all of the upgrades or changes, so you're from a modeling perspective, you're probably going to want to have the old engines, the new engines, etc. But it is something to be aware of. Otherwise, I haven't found any appreciable differences in the actual locomotives themselves. They still run about the same. They still use about the same power. Still pull about the same, etc. The details in the plastic and the modeling are phenomenal, as always with Kato products, but haven't really changed or been upgraded or altered, at least not noticeably to me. These engines or locomotives are also DCC capable. You can take the car bodies off, and both Digitrax and Kato, I think Kato does, I know Digitrax, has a drop-in decoder replacement board that replaces the main board in the locomotive. The new engines are compatible with the same ones that the old GE443s use, as well as the GE442s that Kato has for the rest of their set. So that's pretty much the deal with the locomotives. On the car side of things, there are obviously some differences. Back when the original train set was released, the original model train set, I should say, the Excellence class wasn't a thing. So the Kato didn't have Excellence class cars. In fact, the original train, I think it was two first class, 3 second class, and the club car, or something to that effect. But the reason you only had first and second class cars with the original set was that was what the original train, back then had. Of course, now they have Excellence class, first class, and second class, and the models have been updated to reflect that. So as I said, the 3-unit basic kit or 3-piece basic kit comes with the Excellence class car and a second class car, and the expansion set adds a second class panoramic car and 2 first class cars. Now what's the difference? Seating arrangements essentially internally. And because all of these cars have their seating modeled, or the interiors modeled, that does mean that on the second class cars, you can see that they are 2x2 seating. 2x2, I think, with facing tables between most of the seats, but 2x2 seating nonetheless. In the first class cars, they are 1x2 seating, so 1 car seat on one side of the aisle, 2 seats on the other side of the aisle. And then the Excellence class cars are 1x1 seating. The other major change that Kato has made to the car models, at least so far that I can, or insofar as I can see, is the colors of the interiors have been updated. Again, I believe this also reflects changes to the actual prototypes in terms of interior remodeling and whatnot, but the original cars, the first class interior was injection molded in a very solid red plastic, and the second class was in essentially blue plastic, which was roughly analogous to the interior colors. The new models are all injection molded in a brown or beige plastic. Now the tonality differs from second to first to Excellence class. But the interiors are much more subdued. Now, with that said, this is one of those things that I've always thought warranted some aftermarket modeling, painting, etc. The solid blue interiors are a little weird in terms of, or solid blue and solid red interiors of the old cars were a little weird since the tables wouldn't obviously be blue, but when you're injection molding, you get one color out of the product. With the newer, more subdued colors in the new release, it doesn't warrant, or I don't feel it demands the same kind of, if you're really going to be a bolt counter, a rivet counter about this, it doesn't really demand the same kind of post-production, I need to repaint interior spaces to have it look more reasonable. Now that brings me to the sort of last big topic on the Kato Rhaetian Railway, specifically the Glacier Express stuff. Kato manufactures for almost all of their Rhaetian Railway equipment close couplers, and they come stock on basically everything else that Kato sells for in the Rhaetian Railway product line. So the standalone locomotive has close couplers installed. The ABE 812 Allegras have close couplers, close couplers installed. The Bernina Express cars have close couplers installed. All of the freight cars that they've released have close couplers installed, and so do the EW1 passenger cars, all have close couplers installed. That's not the case for the Glacier Express models. Either the expansion set, the base set, or the whole package with track and transformer. All of these come with standard N scale Arnold or Rapido style couplers. They go by a couple of different names. And as you can see, the close couplers make the cars look, well, a lot better, in my opinion. It's a much closer coupling. Now, both the Rapido and the close couplers, or the standard N scale and close couplers, can be used around 150 millimeter or 6-inch radius curves, so you're not harming yourself in terms of operation or production, operation by switching one way or the other. But the cars are much more closely coupled together. They look better. The couplers are more prototypical looking to what the Rhaetian Railway uses, which is a central buffer and link system. And the problem with all of this is, well, everything else that Kato sells for the Rhaetian Railway comes with the close couplers installed and standard N-scale Arnold-styled couplers in the box. The Glacier Express sets come with Arnold-style couplers and nothing else. They don't have a replacement for the close couplers in the box with them. Kato sells, or sold, and this is where the problem comes in, a pack of close couplers that will recoupler this entire train. I can't find them anymore. I have looked at 2 different hobby shops in Japan that export to the US. I've looked at a couple of hobby shops in Europe that export to the US, and nobody has the 8 coupler set to replace these. And I think probably more than anything that I find frustrating with these models is this dichotomy between everything else that Kato makes for this railroad has close couplers installed and regular couplers in the box, except for these Glacier Express models, which have regular couplers installed, and you have to spend an extra $10, which it's not the $10 to me that's the problem. The problem is availability. I think it's a little cheap, honestly, to make you even do this, but the fact that you can't, if Kato isn't producing the couplers and nobody has them in stock, but you have the trains, you can't get them. And apparently, when they released this new run, they didn't release an updated or a new set of the close couplers, or the conversion set for this set. So stocks are just gone and depleted in all the stores, and I don't know when or if Kato will be rerunning that. Which brings me to a bit of my personal dilemma. Like I said, I do have a full set of close couplers. The question is, which way do I want to go? And what I think I'm going to end up doing, since I have an older set with the old GE 443, and I have a newer one with the new GE 443, and because the locomotives are essentially symmetrical, it doesn't matter which way front back is, and because the close couplers are not conducive to switching. One advantage that the Arnold couplers do have is they are much better if you want to actually switch a train or something like that as part of the way you operate. They're a little bit more accommodating to that. But since I'm not intending to switch with this stuff, I'm just intending to run it, I think what I'm going to end up doing is on the locomotives, I'm going to put one coupler on each end, and I'm going to leave the front coupler off, which will probably bother me because it doesn't look right not having couplers on both ends, but it'll work at least from a functional perspective. And then for the trains, I'm going to convert everything in the new system over to close couplers, I think with the exception of the possibly the end of the Excellence class car. And then on the old cars, I'm going to convert the front end of one of the cars to keep the close coupler, and then I'm going to put the Arnold couplers in the other positions so that I have the ability to, use them with the locomotives I have, even though I don't know how much I'm actually going to use them, at least until I can find another 8-pack of the conversion couplers for this. So before I wrap this up, I also want to make a quick note. Kato's stuff is usually very reliable in my experience. It's well put together. Everything's right and perfect, and it comes out of the factory. You can literally put it on your railroad and hit power, and it'll run. I have had a couple of issues with the Rhaetian Railway stuff. Two that are specific that I've run into. Both have been very minor. Both have been things that I have of no problem talking about because they were simple, easy fixes on my part. First was on my Allegra kit. The middle car, on that train, the middle car we'll call it, one of the trucks was not fully seated, or bogies as you would call them in Europe, was not fully seated, and that car would derail because that bogie or truck wouldn't turn when it went around curves. All I had to do to fix that was, pushed in on it and give it a wiggle, and it was fine after that. The other problem I had was with engine 647, same problem. One of the trucks, of course, in this case, it's a powered truck, was not fully seated and wasn't turning. And when I first started running it, it would derail on my 6-inch, or derail on curves, specifically the 6-inch radius ones. All I had to do to fix that again was push in and give it a little wiggle, and I heard it snap into place. Again, I'm not faulting any of the, whatever. These are minor things, and considering that these are... they were shipped from Kato to a hobby shop in Japan, and then packed and shipped from them to me in the U.S. This is stuff that could have been perfectly fine in the factory and through, FedEx and international flights and all of that kind of stuff. Just wiggled a little bit loose or wiggled a little bit out of position, or it might not have been, completely fully locked in place at the factory and just never, made it through quality assurance. I don't know. But it's super minor to fix. Like I said, all I had to do was push and turn the truck a little bit, and I heard it snap into place. So, and since then, it has been both have been 100% reliable since I did that. So if you do get one of these kits and you are running into a problem with your locomotive derailing or not functioning properly, especially around 6-inch radius curves, do that. Give it a check. Push in on the truck and give it a little wiggle, and it should rotate freely. If it doesn't, it should snap into place when you do that, and you should be good to go. So, with that said, these are the Glacier Express products that Kato has updated in August or early September, late August of 2025. Very solid models, like always. And, if this is your cup of tea, as it is with mine, I definitely would recommend picking them up. So, with all that said, I hope you found this useful, at least interesting. Please feel free to share your experiences in the comments below if you have had any of these. Also, if you happen to know of somewhere that has, or if you know what the story is, I should say, with the couplers, if they're going to be re-released or if they're just dead and gone now, let me know in the comments if you have that or any leads on potential places that might be able to sell them and export them again to the US, because it's where I'm at. So as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.